Got something a little different for everybody today. I am posting a video coaching review that actually one of my patrons signed up for and said, hey, you can use this as content if you'd like. So if you're not familiar with what video coaching reviews are, I basically sit here and review somebody's video that they sent me of them shooting, asking me whatever questions they have for me and for whatever advice they're looking for. And then I give a roughly 20-minute response video here like this, and show their video in the background with me kind of stuck in the corner, and you'll see that here in a second after the intro. If you are interested in submitting a video coaching review for me to look at or looking to become a patron, I will have links in the description below for both of those and a card at the top up there specifically for my website, jkaminski.com, where you can find out more information about video coaching reviews. So with all that being said, let's get right into Tate's video coaching review that he sent to me a little while ago.
You're watching the Jake Kaminski YouTube channel.
Hey there, Tate. Thanks for submitting a video coaching review. I assume your name's Tate based on the handle name Tate Rigby? Yeah, anyway. So we'll get right into it. You're looking for some help on your form before you get too far. You said this was during a 5-spot shoot on NFAA style deal. So yeah, we'll see what we come up with. You might not have liked that one. There's a few things I think we can work on. Overall, you got a pretty dang solid bow arm, so I like that. You got good hip control as well. That's pretty rare to see, actually, so that's great. So they're all very, very similar in the reaction of the shot itself. There's definitely some stuff to work on. I can tell you're relatively new. The first thing that I saw was the overall position of your body. So something that I think you could benefit from is your overall body control. You have really good hip control, so you're starting from a good solid platform. But what's going on is, like once you get to full draw, the hips don't move. At least from this angle, it was very, very solid. But what I'm looking at is watch your head, shoulders, hips, and your overall body position as you go to lift the bow and once you get back to full draw. So from here, see how the head moves, the shoulders move forward, you lean forward on the front foot, and then as you lift up, you start leaning backwards, and then the head comes up, and you lean even further back, right? So something that I think is a pretty easy thing to change that'll make a pretty big difference right off the bat is to just try and have a little bit more awareness and body control. So the end position is great. Your spine is relatively straight. You might be a little bit leaning back, like a tiny amount. Probably if there is any leaning back, it's coming from the head position. You can see here how your head is kind of elevated upwards like this. And that compared to the body, you can see how it's pointing up. The head's a little bit further back. If you were to stand your head upright a little bit more and be a little bit more forward towards the target, that would be really the only change that I would say would be in your overall position at the final end. That would be perfect. Otherwise, the body itself is great. The hips and everything are great. But what I like is if you see your head here, see how it's like more neutral and further forward compared to here it's further back and up. Do you see that? So if you were right there with your head and didn't move your head and came to full draw, you'd probably have a slightly shorter draw length. So you expect that, maybe a 1/4 inch or so, give or take. But because your head would be down further like this and you still want the string to touch your nose while at full draw like you have here, it will shift the string further forward on your chin. It'll allow you to get your hand underneath your anchor a little bit down further under, so the string is here instead of here. Like so, proper would be here, but it's further back on the side of your chin, and see how now the string's behind my nose. So what you have done is your head is picked up up in order to get that string on the tip of your nose to have that anchor really far back. So the body position overall, like I said, is good. The head position needs to go a little bit further forward. That'll allow you to move the string further forward on the chin, keeping the string on the tip of your nose and getting a more solid anchor. Now, why would I want you to have a more solid anchor? I believe that you'll be able to really lock in and engage with the backside a lot more if you have a really strong, tight anchor both up against your jawbone and in against your neck with your thumb muscle against this the muscle on your neck called the SCM, sternocleidomastoid, right here. So right now you're kind of far back and out, and so there's a lot of room for movement, and so you can't really anchor it in and then pivot around that. Because you're floating, it's hard to do so. So if you can get it further forward and under like this, now I've got pressure up and pressure in, right? So I've got in and up, and when I do that, I can use this almost as like a pivot point, a hinging point, that I will then pull around and behind with the shoulder to get through the clicker. And when that happens, the hand will come back like this, nice and strong and quickly. As opposed to where you've got your release, because you can't really hinge around that anchor point the way you should be able to. You've got a release that's just kind of, you don't really pull through. You lose it, and then the hand comes out, and you can really see it. It's very consistent from shot to shot. So you can see it's the same thing, and from this angle you can see it just comes straight out like this instead of cutting in and around your neck. That'd really change if you can get that hand down and under and pull against that neck muscle right there. And then the whole body would pop this way, or the whole shoulder would pop that way. Let me look really quick how you draw. You could be a little bit more aggressive with the backside of the shoulder and pull through here, moving it around and hinging around and behind you. That would really give you a lot better clean release and pop off the string if that elbow followed that line, the swing plane line, while at full draw. The swing plane line is if you were to have like a disc around you that your body would swing around and move around, the elbow would move around, the center point would be on your spine, and then the disc would intersect this arm. So when you're pulling, this elbow should go along this line through the shoulder into the spine, and it should move that way when you release. Right now, it just kind of goes down and then out because you're not pulling in against the neck a lot. If you led with that shoulder back and around and had power, and then came in there and hinged around the neck and kept that power going against the string tension at full draw, the hand will pop back in a much cleaner way, and you won't have this going on. Because it's relatively consistent from shot to shot, I really don't think that you're going to see in your current form a lot of right mistakes. I would suspect that your grouping is your grouping. It is what it is, right? But if you had a good clean release and then you released like this, you would hit much further to the right compared to a good clean release. So just really leading with that shoulder, anchoring in deeper, and then keeping that tension coming around, because it should basically elbow. I'm elbowing the couch behind me, but it's almost like you're elbowing somebody behind you. That's how the release should feel, but not a powerful thing. It's just pull the tension, pull the tension, pull the tension. You release the string, but the tension keeps pulling, and that's what makes you elbow behind you. You should hit yourself back here. This target should almost completely disappear by the elbow coming around you. It should come this far behind you easily. Like you run out of room and you can't move anymore. That's how you should keep pulling and finish the shot. Don't end the shot when you let go of the string. The shot ends when you hit your marks by keeping the tension coming around and behind you, and the string just breaks through your fingers, and you finish the shot that way by finishing the follow through of the backside. That'll make a huge difference. Not sure if you've ever shot a compound or anything like that, but I mean, you can watch the guys shooting compound behind you, and the way that their hands come off the string, you'll see it's just naturally explosive because they're pulling tension, pulling tension, pulling tension, and then they cut it loose, and it keeps continuing around behind them. That's really the only way to do it. Your bow arm is relatively strong at full draw. You could benefit from a little bit more deliberative pressure down here in the grip towards the target in conjunction with this coming around and behind you. You want it going forward and back at the same amount, the same time. Continue pressure, continue pressure, continue pressure. The shot breaks, continue pressure. That bow hand drives forward and that release hand comes around. They're very much so connected through the body. So it should be a relatively easy thing to implement and try to make happen. You know, those are definitely going to be the main things, because your overall control, just trying to stay more upright with the head, especially once you're in this position with the head over the body. If you can get into this spot, you know, the forward back, the head position relative to the shoulders, the shoulder position, if you can get into that spot here, which you are basically there now, you just tend to rock forward. See how you rocked forward? If you kept your body there and just lifted the arms straight up, that would eliminate that rocking, and it would make quite a big difference for you there too. The reason it would make a difference is you'd be able to recognize when shoulders were at different positions, different tensions in areas that they shouldn't be, and overall just recognizing when things are changing. So that would help that a lot. I know I'm giving you a lot here, but I figure I'd give you a fair amount, and you can work on these little things as time goes on over the next month before you submit another one, or whenever you're ready. Yeah, just that controlling that body movement, leading with the shoulder a little bit more. A little bit more further forward anchor, stronger up and under the jaw. Keep that tension coming around from the shoulder, because if you lead with the shoulder as you draw, you can keep that tension going as you cut it loose. Let the hand pop back and let that bow arm pop towards the target. That'll make a huge difference. If you can work on those things, that'd be super helpful. If you can, and you'd like to learn how to keep that tension better off the string, you can use a shot trainer or a form master, and it'll really give you that feeling of having to maintain the tension through release and follow through. You can check out, I have a YouTube video on how to use a Astra Archery shot trainer. You can Google that or YouTube it or whatever, and it'll come up and it'll tell you, I'll explain it to you how to set it up, how to use it properly, and what happens when you do it correctly. It'll make a big difference if you can do that. Otherwise, like I said, just maintaining that tension through the shoulder with the tight anchor, pop off the string, and maintain it until you finish the shot, where you can't move around and behind you anymore. That'll be a big change. If you can do that, it'd be huge. And I suspect your consistency would go up dramatically. So that's where I'd start. If you have questions, just feel free to reach out and ask the questions. I'd be happy to answer them at any time for you. Shoot me messages as needed on Discord as well. And because I'm almost done building the office, I should have a whole lot more time available to respond to questions and things like that as it moves forward. So anyway, I much appreciate your support and hope this helps. And like I said, if you have any questions, just ask. I'd be happy to help explain it to you further. So anyway, take care.